So going all the way back to January 4th, 2023, I went to celebrate one of my cousin's birthdays. It was her 17th birthday by going to watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. For a little bit of context, it is a movie where the concept is Puss in Boots running away from death and fearing death and having to get over that fear of death and accept his own mortality. I didn't know at the time that I would be having to accept my own mortality later that day. When I was on my way back home, or back to my mom's, because I was visiting for winter break, I was sitting in traffic and I got into a car accident. The car accident was not my fault. It was not due to my own actions and my own recklessness and my own inattentiveness. It was due to someone else's, and I paid the price for it. At around 5:30, I was sitting in my car on my way home from this movie, going to my mom's. One moment, I remember waiting for traffic to move. The next, I remember feeling disoriented. I had gotten rear-ended. And the overall impact caused me to get sandwiched between the car that rear-ended me and the car in front of me. I ended up in the back of a Land Rover, which then ended up in the back of the car in front of them, which then ended up in the back of the car in front of them. My car taking the most damage, getting totaled, having both the front and back of it smashed. I think if I wasn't relaxed at the time, if I had been paying attention and had tensed up, I could have ended up worse off than I did. But I remember being on the side of the road after it occurred, sitting on the ground. My leg had hurt. My head was in a little bit of pain. I started off with calling my mom, and all I knew at the time was that it was some sort of truck that rear-ended me. So that is what I said. I said I had just been rear-ended by a truck. And my mom, she started freaking out. She immediately started to get ready to come and see if I'm okay. After I got off the phone with her, I called my dad, and I remember that's when everything kind of set, that, like what I had just been in, I was shocked, and then it hit. I started to cry. I couldn't control the emotions that I felt at that time because I started to panic. You know, thankfully no one else was injured. No one was with me in the car at the time. It was just me. I was by myself. And there was a woman with her kids who had also ended up in this accident. And she came over and was rubbing my back and trying to comfort me at the time. And it set in. They had called for an ambulance just to make sure that I was okay. It wasn't until I got into the ambulance when they were checking me out that I really processed what hit me from behind, and that was an 18-wheeler semi-truck. I then, from the ambulance, had called both my parents and let them know that I was on my way to the hospital to go get checked out just to make sure that everything was fine. Remember calling them and being like, so I'm on my way to the hospital in an ambulance. Don't worry, it's just to make sure that there's no other injuries that they can't physically see. But I was fine, no major injuries. And I remember the paramedics who brought me to the hospital. They were like, do you need us to take you back in the bed, or can you walk? And I said, I can walk. I'm okay. I remember while I was sitting there, my mom showed up first. My dad stopped at my car to pick up anything. I lost 2 cases of root beer. Go figure that one. Wasn't too happy about that, but you know, life is life. Got my checkup. Everything was fine. Had some bruising on my right leg from the impact with the airbag, but I'm alive. Thankfully, the situation didn't affect me that much, but it made me realize how lucky I was to be alive at that moment, because you hear about car accidents every day. You just don't always hear about someone getting into one with a semi-truck, being sandwiched, and then come out walking with very minor injuries. That car accident almost solidified what my year would look like, because things only went downhill from there. I'm happy with the life that I have, minus all the stress, but, you know, I will take life over a death that painful. I mean, overall, I'm physically healthy. Appreciate the life you got, because you never know when it's gonna end, and you don't know what could cause it.